Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Huts Gaming F1 League, Season 5 on F1 2023. Or 23, I think they call it these days. I don't know why they got rid of the 20, but EA things. We're here for round 5 of the championship at Silverstone, the British Grand Prix, the birthplace of Formula 1. At least the championship itself. Formula 1 regulations actually started in 1947, if I'm not mistaken. How are things looking in the championship? TomTom leading the way, looking like he could potentially become the first double champion of the Huts League. He won last season. He could win this season, but he's got fierce competition in the form of, once again, the McLaren of Jordan and the AlphaTauri of Adrian. His own, not his teammate. No, it is his teammate, Surtees. His teammate Surtees, not too far behind those, but the gap between TomTom in first and Jordan in second is, at the moment, pretty astronomical. 33 points. That is quite the mountain to overcome. And that gap is similarly large in the Constructors' Championship, with Mercedes leading the way on 131 points, ahead of McLaren, who are only on 86. And so, we move into qualifying for the British Grand Prix. It is a proper race. No sprint here. Just waiting for everyone to load in. I'm waiting for the game to load. Oh, looks a bit overcast. I just grabbed my controller. It hasn't disconnected by itself, which is a miracle. Bring up all the relevant data. I'll keep an eye on everyone, as they're certainly sorting out their setups at the minute. Those cars will be coming out into the pit lane in just a moment. And our Brazilian friend, the number 35, is getting ready to leave. I do not know how to pronounce that. IXRV? Oh my god. Subbing in for Aljox, who got himself a race ban for some rather shoddy driving. First man out on track, though, is the Haas of Brains 001, car number 67. Behind him is one of the AlphaTauris, Grenhardt, subbing in for Adrian. So Adrian is going to lose a lot of ground in the championship today, as he's not able to take part. In fact, Pookie isn't able to take part either. We've got Level Fusion in the second AlphaTauri. So AlphaTauri is going to lose a huge amount of points today. Whereas McLaren stands to gain some. Now, I'm not calling any shade on Fusion. And with Grenhardt seems familiar, but don't remember if he's a good driver or not, if I have seen him before. So, for now, we'll just assume that AlphaTauri could potentially lose some points here. Especially with Jordan and Hyrie performing extremely well. Fusion is going to do his best, as will Grenhardt, but we'll see. Cars number 8 and 9. How fitting. So, Brains has just started his flying lap here. We'll switch to him briefly, quickly rather. Let's try and keep an eye on the sector times here and get an idea of what the times are going to be like. Brains not the slowest driver, but not the fastest. Solid midfield driver. Completes Sector 1 in 27.519 seconds. Sector 2 will end, and Sector 3 begins just after Beckett's. which is the beginning of the DRS zone down the hangar straight. The original straight on this track, the oldest straight rather. The first straight down after the first. Hang on. The first straight between where you can see the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo. As I forgot to look at Sector 2. 106 or something, by the looks of things. But yeah. Second straight only started existing in 2010. At least that's when the first race was held on it. And it's called the Wellington Straight, as Brains sets the benchmark at a 1:27.070. Grenhart is just behind as Sherlock goes into P2. Grenhart now fastest by half a second. So, yes. The straight that some of these other drivers are on, that Fusion is just about to go on to, called the Wellington Straight for the Vickers Wellington Bomber, a medium bomber used by the Royal Air Force in the Second World War. Back in the 1940s, as Mr. Mouse has reset the benchmark at a 1:25.8. Astronomical time at the minute. Was Britain's primary bomber for the first half of the war, got superseded by the later heavy bombers like the Handley Page, Halifax, Schwartz, Stirling, and the famous Avro Lancaster, as Gladius also now goes to provisional pole. Fusion about to cross the sector split time, 1:03.3. Looking like it should be a much better time than what Brains appeared to do. If you're wondering why I was spouting all the plane trivia, that is because Silverstone used to be a Royal Air Force airbase back in the Second World War. And the reason that straight is called the Wellington Straight, as Fusion goes P6 with a 1:27.0. I do believe Wellington bombers used to fly from this airfield. Hence the names Wellington and Hangar. Once again, the Aston Martins are using a non-standard driver lineup. Big Jabba is in America at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, and is unable to race. And Big Six, evidently not able to race either, possibly with Jabba for all I know. I don't keep 100% up to date with everyone. Caster has just started a lap as well. Looks like he's got a magic 8 ball for his driver number. That's a very gorgeous livery, I have to say. Even though it is associated with the pit of gluttony and despair that is Las Vegas. There's only one reason I like Las Vegas, and that's because of the original series of CSI. So, Caster cross sector 2 in a 1:02.663. Could be on here for a decent lap. TomTom's on his out lap. He's just left the pit lane. And Jordan pulling his usual shenanigans of staying in the pits for as long as he can and then pulling out the pole position lap on in the final minutes. As Caster goes P4, 1:26.036. Almost exactly 0.32 of a second faster than Hyrie. Lots of drivers on outlaps trying to improve their lap times. New Era has done a 1:03.3 through Sector 2. Not an amazing time compared to what we just saw from Caster. And New Era goes only P7, a 1:26.8. Next up, we have a bunch of cars on outlaps. Oh, Jordan is not pulling his usual shenanigans. I spoke too soon. Maybe he's listening to the stream and just decided to throw me for a loop. We're going to keep an eye on TomTom though. He's coming through Maggots and Beckett's right now. His teammate Surtee just exited Cops. TomTom making sure that he didn't take too much life out of his tyres. He's driving very cautiously. And there goes a Ferrari. That is not Biscuit, who's just started his flying lap. That was Caster going around on his in-lap. The traffic ahead gets out of the way for this glorious looking Ferrari. I really do like this livery. Better than the standard livery. As TomTom now begins his fight in earnest for pole position. I'd say at the minute there's only really two drivers who could potentially take pole today. TomTom and Jordan. TomTom having just started his flying lap, going through the village. Whilst Jordan is about to start his, he's entering Vale right now. TomTom into Brooklands and into the Luffield section, where it used to be the exit of a bridge. Now through Woodcut and the old pits on the right-hand side. In fact, the old pit straight this was the old turn 1 Cops. And towards the most famous sector on the section corners on this track. Maggots and Beckett's. Nicely does it. Sector 2 split approaches and it is completed in a 102.294, which is about 4/10 faster than what we saw from Caster. So this could easily put TomTom into the 126.6s, and that's if he only maintains the pace through Sector 3. And across the line, and it's easily a 125.5. Next up, Surtee. Well, not quite next up, but we've got Blue Star setting a lap. There's a 126.9, currently P11. I reckon Surtee is about to displace him down to P12, and he does! It's currently a Mercedes 1-2. Surtee putting in an excellent timed lap, 125.597. He could potentially have taken provisional pole, if not for perhaps some minor things out of its control. That was a very good lap, and then Jordan has pipped them both to the post with 125.3. Almost exactly 2/10 faster than TomTom. Everyone on the soft tyres, what is the gap? Yeah, 0.177. Very slim margins. Two men have not yet set lap times. Angel on his outlap. Marty going for it now. And 101.90, but he's invalidated somewhere. And he either doesn't realise or he's going to do a fast in-lap here. No, he's still going for it. He probably doesn't realise he's invalidated. Which could end up being a bit of a disappointment because he goes 125.369. He could have put himself P2. If not for that mistake, which we didn't see. So currently still 19th and last. We're missing someone, I just noticed. We did have Labib in the lobby and he's not here, so I don't know where he's gone. Don't know what happened to him. Anyone else on the flying lap? Oh, Gladius has actually pipped the Mercedes as well, which could mean that the two Mercedes have not had the best laps that they could have done. Especially TomTom. Anyone on the flying lap here? Mr. Mouse on an in-lap. Perhaps he's had a spin, even. Anyone else? Well, some drivers now coming out. New Era has just started his flying lap, which may end up being his final lap of the session as our friend Thingamajig has had a crash. What happened? How the hell did you crash from the straight? Well, he was the slowest driver by far, and unfortunately we didn't get to see if that was his true pace. His ultimate pace. Angel, though, we're about to see his pace now. Oh, he didn't get Vale quite right there. Looked a bit shoddy, and it's 128.799, so he definitely has to go again, but it's gonna be cutting it pretty tight. In fact, I just noticed his energy store is quite full, which could mean that he made a mistake early on and decided to go around the lap reasonably slowly. Let's open the telemetry. Yeah, he's definitely... Oh, but he's very low on fuel, which could be disastrous. He should have come into the pits, and is he running out of fuel? Nope, not just yet. He's still trying to go for it. He's got 3 minutes and 50 seconds to set a lap time, but with the amount of fuel that he has remaining, it could be nip and tuck here. Through Maggots and Beckett's. Come on. One straight. A corner, or two corners, a chicane. And another short straight. You can do it. You can get to the finishing line. You should hopefully have just enough fuel. Marty, meanwhile, is in the pits, refueling, bolting on fresh tyres. He has the time. It's coming out by the looks of things as Angel does get a time on the board. 126.9. That may be the only time he can manage. Oh, there's a Aston Martin. Made a mistake. New era. Going through the grass. Looks like he was getting out of the way because he probably has run out of fuel himself. Brains on a flying lap. Approaching its end. He's not going to have time to set another one. Across the line now, and he improves by 0.6 of a second up to 9th place with 2.5 minutes to go. That is indeed going to be his final lap attempt today. Everyone is coming out now, including Gladius and TomTom. TomTom and Gladius had them the wrong way around. Jordan also coming out to try and defend his provisional pole position. Meanwhile, Marty leading this train, essentially, by quite some margin. Crawling around the circuit. Trying to preserve his tyres, preserve his energy. If I didn't know better, I'd say he might have been having an engine failure, but of course, you don't have engine failures in qualifying. Especially in multiplayer, I think. Oh, being overtaken? Ooh. What's my mic like? Is my mic perhaps a bit too low? I'm going to turn it up a little bit. So some drivers have overtaken. And the car that is now leading the way is TomTom. Looking to take pole position here in the dying moments of the session. Thought he was spinning around there. I always feel like that sometimes. The car looks like it's going to spin around, but really it's just gripping through the corner. Onto the Wellington straight he goes. DRS wide open down this first major straight DRS zone into Luffield. Oh, Jordan has picked up a 5th place grid penalty. Oh dear. As has Bluestar. What's going on? I think this is now confirming TomTom as pole position. Unless Gladius has anything to say about it. He's improved but through Sector 1, potentially? No, not just yet. He has improved by 1/10 of a second. TomTom managed by less than 1/10. Sector 2, approaching. As the session ends, TomTom improves again, 102.2. What about Gladius? Potentially the man who could take pole position from TomTom here. Where is he going to go? He's entering Vale. I want to try and catch the time that Gladius manages, but I don't think he's gonna get across the line. TomTom does not improve. Well, he does. He moves up to P2, but Gladius up by 0.3 of a second. This could be Gladius on for pole position here. Surtees is slower through Sector 1, so he's not a threat at the minute. Marty now goes P1, provisional pole. But what can Gladius do? Final corner he goes, across the line, Gladius on provisional pole. Jordan is going to have a 5-place grid penalty, so even if he takes pole here, it's not going to count. Surtees, meanwhile, heading towards the finishing line. We'll watch Jordan as he goes through. Oh, he's 5/10 down. He is not going to improve. Surtees did improve by a 1.5 tenths. This could be crucial. Across the line, it's only up to P4. TomTom has had a horrendous session. He's been out-qualified by Surtees. He's only P6. The only man who could potentially take the fight. No, Caster's not even on a flying lap here. That means Gladius on pole from Marty in P2. What a lap from Gladius there. And Jordan, with that 5-place grid penalty that he's picked up. In fact, who picked up penalties? Am I able to see? No, not yet. I know Jordan had one. I think someone else picked one up as well. But yeah, at the minute, Gladius on pole, and who is it? Jordan going to be starting from 8th, I think. Oh dear. It's Blue Star who picked up the 5th-place grid penalty as well. Oh dear. It said illegal blocking, so I don't know if there was a collision or what, but clearly something didn't go right there. Oh dearie me. And it kind of sucks for him because he was within a 10th of Gladius's time, as was Marty, but in the end Gladius had the edge on them both. I would like my chair to move, please. Thank you. Just a little bit. So, the Grand Prix approacheth, and it's just a slightly cloudy race today. Mostly clear. Don't know if I don't know if it's going to start raining later. It might not. Either way, we're going to have 19 drivers battling it out for the race victory. No formation lap. I checked the settings. It's not been enabled. I guess everyone is still thinking that there are issues. I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I thought they fixed that issue where reversing on the grid was being a penalty or something. So here we go, 5 red lights coming on for the Huts Gaming F1 League. Being held for a long time here, it's lights out and away we go for the British Grand Prix. Gladius getting a decent start ahead of Marty, but Marty going side by side into Village already at the inside. Can he take the position? Apparently Shankstar's leading the way. What? Marty holding off. No, sorry. Gladius holding off Marty for now, managing to do that. Shankstar is being incredible and is leading the race, even though I'm pretty sure he's not even... I don't know how that's happened. I'm pretty sure he's down in something Oh, yeah, he's in 16th now, I just realised. Wonderful. TomTom has had an incredible start. He's already up into 4th. Jordan is into 6th. It's been a good start for some drivers, bad start for others. Surtees has been the big loser out of that start. He's down into 16th place. That is horrendous luck. 13 positions lost before the first sector had even ended. Oh dear. And Domchi, the second Alpine, is already hot on the heels of of Marty. Hyrie has just picked up a 5-second penalty for corner cutting or something, I think it was. Which is really unfortunate. TomTom all over the road, going through Vale, and at significant threat from Jordan at the minute. Got yellow flags. There's been a spin for Blue Star, he's spun on the final corner. Looked like Jordan was almost drifting around the village corner there, through the village section. TomTom, his pace is not great. He's already a second behind Domchi. Looks like he's a little bit faster in a straight line on this occasion, though. Managing to catch the Alpine as Jordan's got it a little bit wrong. Could potentially be under threat from his teammate Hyrie here, who's going to need to make up a lot of ground to make up for that 5-second penalty. Though Surtees gone off again. What has happened to the second Mercedes? It's double disaster for Surtees, who finds himself off in the grass. I believe there may have been contact there. It wasn't with Blue Star, it might have been with Fusion. He's missing an end plate on that AlphaTauri. Gladius under threat from Marty, who's going to try and make the move around the outside of Stowe. Don't think he's going to have the grip on this occasion. Gladius trying to back Marty up if he can, who's trying to make the move up the inside of Vale now. Marty, absolutely rapid at this stage of the Grand Prix, and TomTom is managing to reel them back in. Another yellow flag. Blue Star has had a spin on the exit of Stowe. And now Marty, the filling in an Alpine sandwich. Gladius needs Domchi to start performing. DRS has been enabled, which means Marty can make the dive bomb into Brooklands if he's not feeling lucky on this occasion. And Domchi goes a little bit wide. Jordan is very close to the diffuser of TomTom's Mercedes. I think, has there been a pit stop for Surtees? No, it doesn't look like it. Jordan using some overtake. Can he make the move of the inside of Cops? Oh, no, he didn't. That was very close to being a Verstappen and Hamilton situation, like we saw back in 2021, but the move has been solidified. TomTom loses P4 to Jordan. I don't think this is TomTom's best track here, if we're being honest here. He's just struggling. He clearly doesn't seem to be gelling with Silverstone. And Gladius has also lost the position to Marty. Not the end of the world, though, now that he's going to get the DRS from the Alfa Romeo, and potentially, well, Marty's just put in the fastest lap of the session as Surtees potentially having connection issues. Anyway, Gladius can put Marty under extreme pressure. He has the DRS now. Down the Wellington Straight. Is he going to try and make the move into Brooklands? Well, he's very close. He's got the overspeed. He's using a bit of overtake. And he retakes the position. Back into the lead on lap 4. But Marty trying to fight it back. Domchi also trying to putting a little look up the inside. Unfortunately, that seems to have hurt his pace just a little bit here. He's a bit further back than he was. And Jordan catching them reasonably quickly. I didn't want the onboard camera, thank you very much. That's why I switched away from it. Marty is going to get the DRS again down the Hangar Straight. He's got plenty of energy to spare. And he's using it in conjunction with the DRS, and he's going up the outside in time to take the position by Stowe. And once again, Gladius finds himself in P2 at the end of a lap. So he's led a couple of laps here, but he's keeps losing the position now. Still, he's within the DRS. Domchi is not far behind, but Gladius needs Domchi to perform and try and get ahead of the Alfa Romeo. Look at this train here. Positions 1 to 7 locked together. The Alfa Romeos are the bread in a sandwich. That includes both Alpines, both McLarens, and the leading Mercedes. The only remaining Mercedes is... Oh, Surtees, speaking of the other Mercedes, has managed to get back into the session. But he's miles behind now, and there's no chance of him gaining points today, I reckon. Not without a safety car. And now Gladius is going to have the DRS and energy deployment down the hangar straight. Oh, it's all over the place again. Don't know who's hosting today. DRS wide open, but not catching, potentially not even really using the energy deployment. So biding his time here. Gladius looking like he could pick up a race victory here if he can get back past Marty at a crucial point of the race. Though it's not looking like it's going to be a good race for Alpine at the minute, because Jordan catching Domchi, who's gone a bit wide at turn 1. Can Jordan make the dive bomb? Well, Domchi defending. And Jordan is going to make the move. Can he make it up the inside of Village? Yes, he can. Side by side. Who's going to get the DRS, though? It is going to be, well, both of them. But Domchi right behind. That's really not good. And he's going wide at Brooklands as well. TomTom now within touching distance. And Hyrie could make the move as well. Domchi looking like he could potentially lose positions here. Multiple positions. He could fall as low as 7th here. Which is where this leading train is. He's still holding on. But that gap is growing, mostly. And Gladius has the DRS. It looks like he's using energy, and he's going to mirror the move that Marty made on him just a couple of laps ago. Manages to retake P1 at Stowe. Very similar moves here. It's like poetry. It rhymes, I think. The funny thing about the leading pack here, all but one of these drivers is now exactly where they began this race. The odd one out there is Jordan. He's currently in 5 places above where he started. In P3, where he qualified anyway. So Jordan did technically qualify P3. He's exactly where he started the race. Essentially. Oh, that's funny. What is that comment? From Big Juicy Rod, hope my boyfriend Tom wins. I'm on the toilet. Great. Thanks. We really wanted to know that, didn't we? So, lap 7. The end is approaching of this lap as we're going through Maggots and Beckett's. And Marty, once again, mighty close to the Alpine of Gladius. And he's holding on without having to use a huge amount of energy. But he's not able to make the move on this occasion. How is he able to be so fast without using energy? Gladius has had to use about 40% of his energy so far. Marty is able to keep a very full battery, as Domchi Yeah, he got dropped by Jordan, but Jordan now catching the leading pair and dropping the second Alpine behind, who looked like he was going a bit wide. I think he is going wide. I think he's got that corner very wrong, and Jordan right behind Marty. Marty's going to have to use all of his energy, or at least some of his energy, to hold Jordan off. How is he doing that? As TomTom up into P4 now on the hard tyres. That's something I forgot to look at. Tyres. Ooh. Mostly hards on everyone. Few medium runners, one soft runner. New era, probably not realising that the soft tyres aren't going to last very long. Shankstar and Lero Fusion have had to make pit stops as Mr. Mouse picks up a 3-second penalty. He's being dropped now and is sort of falling into an Alpine spot, if you get what I mean. Oh, and Biscuit now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Ugh. Oh dear. So yeah, Mr. Mouse is not really fighting anyone at the minute. He's being dropped by everyone in front, but he's faster than everyone behind. Now, the question is, what is Marty going to do? Is he going to try and keep attacking Gladius, or is he going to try and defend from Jordan? Can he do both at the same time? Possibly. He's had to use a bit more energy to hold Jordan off. The McLaren driver, mighty quick at the minute, but have had to use a lot of energy as Brains, the latest driver, to pick up a 3-second time penalty, and Jordan with the traction. Oh, look at that defensive move from the Alfa Romeo, holding him off. Oh, was that moving under braking? That was hard to tell, and Jordan almost trying to force Marty off the track. I don't know if that was Marty moving under braking, but he's got the exit of Luffield wrong. They're going side by side now through Woodcut, down the old pit straight. Jordan has the inside, but backs off. I think I know why. He wants the DRS, but Marty's going to get DRS too. He's close enough to Gladius, but all this fighting means that he's not going to be able to make much inroads. He's got the DRS at least. He can close a little bit. He's got plenty of energy. Jordan has had to use all of his. Almost all of it, trying to overtake. And Marty's just sitting on 56%. How is he doing that? Further back. Oh! Grenhart gets it all wrong on the exit of Vale. We switched just in time. He was closing on Caster and he lost it. Almost a curse of the commentator, almost. Curse of the live camera. Get out of the way of the Haas. Oh, you could almost call that an unsafe rejoin, almost. Oh dear. Sherlock could potentially lose P10 here to Biscuit, who's up one position from where he started. Sherlock has actually had a much better exit out of the village section than his teammate Angel, or it could be that they're on comms and Angel's backed up. At the front, once again, Jordan has a front row seat to Marty, and I think he either has backed off himself, or he's realised that the best way of getting past Gladius is letting Marty past. Marty back in front with plenty of energy to spare, though Gladius was able to save a little bit as well. Marty's had to use up a lot of his energy. Oh, and I think potentially had a very poor exit from Vale, but not the greatest opportunity for Gladius to overtake. It's just too tight of a corner, not the right place for an overtake manoeuvre. I wonder if Marty is taking a lot out of his tyres. It's something I wish I could see. There's been another spin. That is Biscuit. Oh no. It's gone all wrong for the second Ferrari as Gladius dives up the inside of Brooklands once again. taking the lead by Luffield. But that is once again going to place him under threat down the hangar straight unless Jordan can put Marty under pressure as well. Meanwhile, TomTom has a slightly far back, second row seat almost, to to the fight up ahead. Look how close these guys are. Oh, and Gladius goes a little bit wide at Maggots, and I think there was a bit of contact there potentially. Marty, though, dumping the energy. Oh, well, he's stopped dumping it now. He's got the DRS. Gladius squeezing him as much as he can, but giving him room as is fair, and Marty retakes the position. Got rear locking, but that's the game being strange. Jordan, really close to Gladius. But at the minute, these top six inseparable, and Gladius could still retake the position from Marty. He just needs to learn that the right place to take the position is the end of the hangar straight, not the Wellington straight. But because between the end of Stowe is a better overtaking opportunity, if you ask me, and he's taking a look up the outside of Brooklands. It's not going to work just there. But yeah, this is mainly to do with DRS. We're almost halfway through this race. How time flies! How things are merging together. As Khalid Malcolm says, "Hello, let's go, Shank Labaguette." Shankstar, unfortunately, not doing so well today. He's down in 18th. So he did create that epic trailer for ACC the other day. If you haven't seen it, as Gladius trying to make, taking a look at the outside of Stowe. If you haven't seen Shankstar's trailer for ACC, as Gladius, first of the leaders into the pits, check out his YouTube channel at La Liga Fiesta. That epic trailer recap for Season 3 of ACC. Hard tyres go on for Gladius. Mr. Mouse also into the pits, though he's not going to get held up. He only has a 3-second penalty. Also into the pits, Sherlock. Pitting from P10. Biscuit also pitting. Oh, and a lock-up for special friend for Dave. In 14th, almost. And Jordan got ahead of Marty, by the looks of things, at the end of the Wellington straight. Marty, though, plenty of energy, and now he's going to get the DRS. Jordan's gone sideways! Had a bit of a slide. One hell of a tank slapper. That's not what you want to have happen. That's going to take a lot of life out of those medium tyres. And now TomTom smells the blood in the water. Oh, and last minute dive into the pits lane for Jordan. Following him in is Domchi. Jordan almost certainly responding to Gladius, who's coming through Maggots and Beckett's now, but his tyres look extremely cold. What is the interval? The leader time? 28 seconds? Can't be. Surely not. Where is Gladius going to put his car? Will Jordan have had a better in-lap than Gladius has had an out-lap? Well, he's on to the start-finish straight now. And he's going to pass Jordan just about. Yeah, that Jordan right there. The gap just over a second. And of course Jordan's going to have the brand new cold tyres, which means he's not going to get the DRS. We've got a yellow flag. Oh no, that's Domchi! Has had a mistake. His cold tyres have caught him out, and now he's under threat from Mr. Mouse, who doesn't get the DRS. Domchi does get the DRS as he was close enough to Jordan, but that's a bit of a disaster for Gladius, who really needed Domchi's assistance, and that's going to be extremely bad news. Glenhart has now picked up a 3-second time penalty. Marty staying out, as is TomTom. Hyrie into the pits. He started on hard tyres. He's going to go on to mediums, I would imagine. What is Caster going to do? Caster into the pits as well. So Marty and TomTom are staying out. Now Marty's tyres are going to be probably screaming a bit more than TomTom's. They are mediums, whilst TomTom is on hards. There's a bit of fighting going on further down. That's Lateral Fusion, right on the tail end of Brains. And Hyrie passed by his teammate, and Gladius being dropped quite a bit. And Biscuit zooming up the outside of Fusion? That was one hell of a move. Damn, I just watched that back on the replay. That is incredible. I believe that's because Biscuit's tyres are brand new though, so very nice move. Angel, a distant P3. Now, a pit stop around here is about 28 to 30 seconds. So Marty and TomTom stand to lose a lot of positions here. A lot of time, at least, when they make their pit stops. And the question is, when are they going to pit? Well, now! Both of them into the pits now! So, it's now or never, and it does look like Gladius is going to retake the lead, and could retake the lead by quite a substantial margin, heading down the hangar straight, but he's being overtaken by Jordan! I completely ignored Jordan. I thought he wasn't close enough. Jordan absolutely mega! Gladius still close enough. Where are Marty and TomTom? They're about to exit the pits right now. Oh, yellow flag! That is New Era, I believe. Yes, New Era's hit a spin. He's got going again. And look at the difference. Oh, New Era, what is he doing? Oh, no, don't do that, man. He's decided to retire. Has he crashed? Fortunately, we haven't had a safety car. It looked like he might have crashed. I don't know if that was an accident or not. That looks as a very strange place to have a crash. Maybe he thought it was better than retiring on track. Either way, something feels dodgy about that. Yeah, where was I? About the tyres, yes. 3 laps earlier. Gladius pit 3 laps before Marty and TomTom. Marty's gone on to soft tyres. I don't know if that was the right call, but it's at least solidifying his position from TomTom. He's dropping the Mercedes by a little bit per lap. 1.5 seconds ahead, but 3.6 seconds behind Gladius and Jordan, who are on their sufficiently warmed up, fresh, well, slightly more worn tyres. Still reasonably fresh. But Jordan on the softer rubber could have the advantage here over Gladius. Gladius chasing his first victory of the season, potentially ever, because I don't remember if Gladius has ever won a race here. He seems to be one of those drivers who's perpetually really close, but never close enough to winning. And he just seems to be too far back again. Especially in terms of the DRS. And he's being dropped by Jordan. Those medium tyres definitely helping Jordan here, keeping the lead. It's going to help him close the gap on TomTom, who's only P4. Headphones are having issues. Damn things are on their last legs. Need new ones. Kind of broke at the minute because, you know, if you were in the Discord at the beginning of last month, you know why I'm kind of broke at the minute. Down the field, Domchi under threat from Mr. Mouse. I don't know if that was a change of position, as Marty just put in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He is now closing on Gladius and Jordan with those soft tyres, but that gap, whilst it may be coming down, it may start to stabilise as his tyres wear off. Domchi catching Hyrie, and Mr. Mouse right behind Domchi, fighting for P5 here. We're not being focusing too much on the lower echelons, and that's because there's so much action at the front of the field, and Marty closing the gap even more. He is absolutely rapid. Remember, Marty is the guy who won on his debut with the league. Singapore, Season 3. No, Season 2, was it? No, Season 4, rather. My mistake. Singapore Season 4. Won on his debut. I think there was a bit of shenanigans going on. Oh, and I think... Who was it there? Yeah, Domchi has used up too much energy, and he's now outside of a second. He's got the DRS, though, which might help him maintain the gap. But at the front, Marty catching Gladius at a rate of knots. Now within a second himself. Well, he was. He's lost a little bit of time. Could be a bit slower on the straights. But very fast through the corners. Is he close enough? He might just snag. DRS? No, he wasn't close enough. But is close enough for the next sector if he can maintain the gap. He is definitely slower in a straight line here. But that could be because he's not using energy. He's maintaining it. Oh, we've had another spin. Biscuit having an incident at Vale. Manages to keep going. Doesn't look like he's got any damage. Surtees into the pits again. But he's nowhere. His race ended on lap 1 pretty much. And with no safety car, he is nowhere near getting points. Mr. Mouse maintaining his gap to Domchi, who is also maintaining his gap to Hyrie. Gets the DRS again, but low energy. Same with Hyrie. Mr. Mouse has plenty. This could be crucial. In the battle for P5. Potentially only P6 though, because Domchi, with so little energy, is losing touch to Hyrie. Also losing touch is TomTom, 2.4 seconds behind Marty, who is just... I can't think of any other words for rapid. Fast, quick, lightning, ka-chow. He's just... How is he he's dumping his energy, which Gladius doesn't seem to be doing. Oh, that was really close. Could have just been a bit of latency, but it looked like that if Gladius had braked just 1/10 later, he could have been collected by the Alfa Romeo. And that Alfa... Oh, he's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. That could be really crucial. That was one hell of a mistake that he couldn't afford to make, and Gladius, knowing that he's under threat from behind, has been using up all his energy. Jordan has been saving his. And this could be quite the difference. Marty is going to take P2. He could even take P1. Hey, look how fast he is. He's taken both positions down one straight. Gladius going side by side now with Jordan hanging on. Marty now has one hell of a job as Jordan manages to fight his way past Gladius. Marty with that job 3-second gap he has to now create behind. He could do this, but Jordan, using a bit of his energy to maintain the gap himself, just within a second, he's going to get the DRS, but he's not got a huge amount of energy. He's got 20% given to Marty's 40 to 50%. Now Marty, rapid through the corners, but not so quick down the straights, potentially because he's not been using a huge amount of his energy. And unfortunately, I think we just watched Gladius lose definitive possibility of P1 here.
Yet again.
Which is such a shame. He's such a good driver, but he's just not fast enough. Ooh, now. Was Jordan close enough for DRS? No, I don't think so. He's having to use his energy. Marty has used a lot of his energy. That could be crucial as well. Surtees has retired! What's happened here? He's, I think, retired on track, potentially? He didn't retire in the pit lane, that's for sure. But yeah, that's Surtees calling time on his race. Jordan crucially dropped by Marty. 1.5 seconds is the gap. Give or take a hundredth or two. TomTom sort of closing on Gladius, but just still not able to make huge inroads. Jordan has to try and keep pace with Marty if he wants to win the race here. He can win the race through the penalties if he can maintain a 3-second gap. But Marty's so quick through the corners with those soft tyres and using his energy very strategically. But yeah, we can see the gap dropping as he relies on his straight line speed. He's definitely gone for a higher downforce setup here, which is enough through the corners. Oh, another yellow flag. I think there's been a coming together, potentially. Where is that? That's Caster has come off. No, I don't think he did come together with anyone. Possibly made the mistake all by himself in a bit of no man's land. Meanwhile, Hyrie has dropped Mr. Mouse, and Mr. Mouse got past Domchi. So Hyrie now more or less solidified in P5. Jordan not being dropped by Marty, perhaps as quickly as Marty would like, but there's still 4 laps to go. 23, 24, 25, yeah, 26. 4 laps, and the gap is now 2 seconds. We've got another yellow flag. What's happened there? That's... our friend in the Red Bull has retired. I think maybe that might have been in the pit lane, and it's just been very late with the notification. Yeah, Marty. Super quick. So quick. He has that 3-second penalty, and it's like he's been incensed. Look at the gap. I would have thought his soft tyres would be falling off the cliff right about now, but apparently not. So it's just a question of what can Jordan do to maintain the gap and hope that it doesn't climb to 3 seconds or above. I don't think he can do it. He doesn't have the energy. Marty's used up all of his energy now, though. He's very low. So now he's got to rely almost entirely on the grip of his tyres alone, which he does seem to be able to do. That gap, now 2.5 seconds. Though it's fallen a little bit, possibly had a poor exit through Vale. 129.9. What was Marty's last lap? Let's take a look at the race director. View lap times. Last lap, come on, quickly. 129.3. 6 tenths faster than Jordan on that lap alone. But the gap seems to potentially have stabilised as Jordan, using a little bit of his energy, down the Wellington Straight, keeping it pretty close. And Gladius has a possibility of P2 on the cards here. He has to try and stay close
to Jordan as well.
I think Gladius realizes that he isn't going to win, although he is very close. But if they fight this, then they're going to lose, and the gap is now going to 2.6 seconds. It's getting really close, and at the minute, Gladius stands no chance of standing on the second step of the podium, though he's got the DRS. It's going to allow him to close a little bit. Jordan not making up the time down the straight anymore. I wonder if Marty used a bit of his energy. The gap is now 2.7 seconds with 2 laps to go. This is mighty close.
He's got to make up 1.5 tenths per second per lap.
And at the minute, Gladius is not going to be standing on the second step of the podium. Jordan could still snatch the lead here through the penalties. It could be that the soft tyres are starting to feel the pressure, because that gap seems to be stabilising a little bit, and Gladius, I think, is also feeling a bit incensed. He wants to get ahead of Jordan at just the right moment to snatch the victory himself. 2.5 seconds is the gap.
Gladius cannot afford to make any mistakes, as can Jordan.
TomTom just a bit too far behind to make any serious threats.
And the gap 2.6 seconds. DRS for Gladius. And he's going to potentially make the move. He's got the overspeed. He is ahead of Jordan. He could potentially take the race's victory here, but he is
potentially going to be too slow. We don't know at the minute. 2.6 seconds is the gap as we are about to go onto the final lap. We are now indeed on lap 26, the final lap of this race, of this Grand Prix, and Jordan, this is going to be really difficult. I want Gladius to win. He desperately needs that race victory, but Jordan, the gap was 2.4 for a brief second.
Jordan gets the DRS, but he's going to use it down the hanger straight. The energy, that is.
The gap 2.6. Grenhart picks up a 3-second time penalty. This is getting so close. I almost can't watch, but I have to.
2.7 seconds. The gap has grown to again. He's got a bit of traffic ahead.
And the gap's still not close enough. Jordan getting closer.
He's going to go for it down the hanger straight.
The gap 2.8 seconds. Gladius just a little bit too slow. 2.7, almost 2.8. The gap is not enough.
And Jordan might potentially take the lead.
Jordan is going to win. And the gap. Marty's made a massive mistake. And that was all she wrote. Gladius just made the move at the wrong opportunity. Jordan is going to take P1 on the road ahead of Gladius. TomTom will finish P3 and Marty will finish P4 after making a mistake on the final time of asking. That has got to be soul crushing. And I gotta. My driver of the day is gonna be Gladius. Because
this guy led so.
It just hurts to see
another race victory snatched away.
And unfortunately, I've got to say, I think it was Gladius' own fault there. He made the move 1 lap too early. He had to make the move on the final lap, like Jordan did, and in the end, that's cost him a race victory there. Hyrie managed to finish P5, making it double points for McLaren. That's 35 points in total.
Marty gets the fastest lap point. Bit of a consolation prize. Double points for the Alfa Romeo outfit. Domchi only P6. Mr. Mouse P7, Caster P8, Angel P9, and Grenhardt finishes P10. Shankstar finishes a lonely 15th. And you can see the frustration as he decides to spin across the line. Time to breathe. The game reckons Jordan was driver of the day. No. Just because he started P8, not driver of the day for me. I think Gladius did an extremely good job of holding on there, and he could have won if not for a couple of mistakes. Jordan, sure, he had a very good drive there. And it could have been Marty winning too if he hadn't made a few mistakes as well. In the end, his soft tyres just wore off a bit too much to give him the 3-second lead he needed, and I think he knew that. Which is probably why he had that spin going into Vale. He was doing everything he could to get that gap to 3 seconds, and he overcooked it. So there we go. Jordan closes the gap on TomTom by 10 points. So it's not a huge difference, but it's certainly a little bit of a difference. Let's see. What am I doing? Clicked on the wrong button. There we go. Let's go and look at the standings then. For how things were. So TomTom moves up 15 points. So he will be over 100 points now. Jordan will have, let's say 60, 80 points. So he's closed on TomTom, but still a ways behind. Surtees hasn't made any inroads on Adrian. So Adrian's still P3 in the championship. And Hyrie getting P5, still behind Surtees, but now only the gap is close to 2 points. Domchi got the P6. Rock only reserve, which means he has not been overtaken by Mr. Mouse, but the gap has been closed. Gladius, finishing P2, has moved from 13 points to 13 plus 18. Let's find a calculator quickly. Calculator. 13 plus 18 equals... He's now on 31 points. So he is probably just behind his teammate Domchi. He's now in P6, I think. Or 7. No, P7. Behind Domchi still. But closed the gap. He needed that P2. But obviously, he would really have preferred the win. Better luck next time, Gladius. It's coming for you. But not today. It was just 1 second too far. 1 lap too early. In the meantime, everyone, thank you for watching this edition of Huts Gaming F1 League. We'll catch you next week for round 6, which is in... Do I actually have the calendar here somewhere? Yes, there it is. Actually, no. That's season 4. That's the wrong one. Oh, dear. Where is it? Let me see. Where's the calendar gone? Where is the calendar? Calendar. Next round, on the 10th of December, it is the Dutch Grand Prix and Zandvoort. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Never mind. Zandvoort approaching next week. Until next time, thank you for watching, everyone. Take care.
and good night.
Meow.